Have you ever read stories of the Washington Post? WAPO is known for its investigative stories and for its agenda. Recently, a Canadian newspaper, the Globe and Mail, revealed in a report that Canadian government's officials provided intelligence about India to Washington Post regarding the recent controversy. Why is Canada government providing intelligence to Washington Post? Is WAPO batting for Canada in this entire diplomatic fiasco? And do you remember how active WAPO was during the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections in India? Its bureau in charge for India is specifically known for peddling the anti-India agenda. Today, let's unveil mask of the Washington Post. The report of the Globe and Mail has completely exposed the Canadian government, and it's even more embarrassing for Justin Trudeau because his national security advisor has been named as WAPO's source. Interestingly, the information was leaked to WAPO even before the RCMP did its press conference on 14 October, and on the very same day, WAPO published an article about the same topic. So, do you see this connection between the Canadian government and the Washington Post, which is a US-based media organization, by the way? Countries in the global south have always alleged that the Western media has been portraying them in a negative light, and this includes Washington Post. Let's take the example of India. During the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections, WAPO was very focused on India. It ran several anti-India campaigns which were intended against the ruling Modi government. In a series of articles, it frequently targeted BJP supporters, alleging them to inflame India. WAPO rampantly published articles which demonized Hindu nationalists while painting Indian Muslims as victims. It regularly complained how India has tamed Twitter and allegedly setting new standards for online censorship. WAPO also did not refrain from defending anti-India organizations such as the Indian American Muslim Council and the Hindus for Human Rights. Notably, Twitter accounts of both these organizations were withheld in India. And do you remember, Washington Post was the first to report about the alleged assassination plot of Khalistani extremist Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. One might wonder if WAPO's sources for that story was US government officials. So, if you search on Google Washington Post and India, you will get plethora of search results, all of the anti-India content they have peddled in the run-up to Lok Sabha elections. Now we introduce another figure in the story. Let's meet Gerry Shih, the chief of Washington Post's India Bureau. The reason we introduce Gerry is because he is a central figure in WAPO's anti-India propaganda. Since he is the India head of this media publication, it's a given that every story related to India must be read or approved by him before it's published. And it was under him the WAPO ran their series of anti-India articles during the Lok Sabha elections. During those times, Gerry was also involved in building up a certain narrative. For example, see this tweet by him talking about views on a Dhruv Rathi interview by Akash Banerjee. And guess what? After this tweet, suddenly many Indian political parties were broadcasting Rathi's videos. And even Gerry has been regularly promoted and quoted by many Indians in return. So it's a given that Gerry is the propaganda master of WAPO in India. It really is amazing to see how some of these individuals are so well connected. And if you think it's only with Western media persons, then you're mistaken. Even former Secretary in Ministry of External Affairs, K.C. Singh, had miraculously predicted Canada's allegation on Amit Shah, and it was before the WAPO published their report. Was this just a coincidence? Now you might wonder why WAPO is doing propaganda at all. For this, we have to delve into history. In early 1950s, the CIA, the US intelligence agency, started Operation Mockingbird. Its purpose was to change public opinion by controlling media. For that, it hired 400 journalists from media houses, universities, etc. CIA groomed them, gave them money, gave them awards. Their work was to fool their readers to change public opinion, and on name of honest journalism, they peddled CIA agenda. According to author Deborah Davis, Operation Mockingbird recruited leading American journalists into a propaganda network and influenced the operations of front groups. In 1975, Church Committee congressional investigations revealed that CIA had connections with journalists and civic groups, exposing the Operation Mockingbird completely. But let me tell you an interesting fact. Do you know who was the person recruited by CIA to supervise this Operation Mockingbird? Phil Graham, co-owner of the Washington Post. Now, many would point out that this operation was closed in 1976. But can you be really sure? And seeing reporting of Washington Post and Gerry Shih, is it not possible that US deep state is running Operation Mockingbird 2.0 and this time in a global scale?